bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, welcome. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Wednesday, May 18th. 139 days into the new year. 225 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I am your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Tonight, we have very special guest, Dr. Louis Turi is here. We're going to discuss his ET contact and how he does his predictions. Yeah. Tomorrow night, it's another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake newsroom. It's going to be great. What a great week we've had on the show. Thank you, everybody, listening. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. Follow us on Twitter, at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. Everything's Fade to Black, JChurch Radio. Simple to find, simple to do. Go to the website right now and click follow, like, and subscribe. You can also email throughout the show tonight, as is every night. Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Just make it good so it makes its way in here to me. That's all you got to do. The sandbox is our little space. It's hashtag F2B. Get TweetDeck. Do it. We don't bite. 3,000 tweets a night. It's insane. Any questions or comments for the guest tonight? Dr. Louis Turi or myself, hashtag F2BQ is the questions. And they are fed to me live to my left as I'm retweeting in real time, by the way. I just can't believe I just did that. Can you see the pause? The pause in my voice? Support the show. Support yourself. Do it. Life Change Tea. GetTheT.com. I take the products every single day. I feel great. Been doing this show for 3 years. 4 nights a week. Life Change Tea is how it gets done. GetTheT.com. Just go there now. Use the promo code Jimmy. JIMMY when you order, either on the phone or online, and you get free shipping. They've got a great special section right there at the website. Great new website, by the way. And Ronnie runs one of the best companies in the world. Go and check it out. Yeah, and I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, but I've been doing the Moringa drops. Oh, man, that's a game changer right there. And also Studio Dome and their stereo system. It's portable, it's Bluetooth, it's TWS, true wireless stereo technology, the latest Bluetooth stereo technology, 2 USB B2 speakers that link together wirelessly. $129, hard shell case. You've got a portable stereo system to take anywhere. All right? It's just amazing. Use the promo code JCRTWS. I was on location a couple of weeks ago for a shoot, right? And for a TV show. And the DP goes over to his car. We're out at the production vehicles, and everybody's setting up. And he whips out this Bluetooth speaker and puts it on his car and cranks it up. And the whole crew, it's like 25 people, are out there dancing at 8 a.m. in this parking lot. And it was really funny. I walked right up to him, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to get you hooked up, because this thing was battered, right? But the point is, and he ordered the speakers, by the way. He got them. It was just one. And the reaction to everybody at 8 a.m. when he put that on the hood of his car and he was playing some 80s stuff. It was like Aha or something, Joy Division or something. And the reaction to everybody, you could be that guy. And I can't wait to see him again, because he'll be whipping out the studio domes next time around. But that's the reaction you get from your friends. You whip out the stereo system like that in the middle of nowhere, and it's on. Go and do it now. Studio Dome. And the banner is right there at jimmychurchradio.com. The promo code that you use, JCRTWS. If you forget, it's right there in the banner, too. Okay? Do it. It is the best. You will not be disappointed. And there you go. So we talk about it every single night on the show, but it's coming down to it. Today is the 18th. I cannot believe it. If you haven't got your tickets, go and do it now. Contact in the Desert. Get your hotels, get everything set up. Contact in the Desert is June 3rd through the 6th. I was speaking to Victoria yesterday about Contact, and they're doing a full-blown concert there this year for the first time. They've got a great band coming in, and they are pulling out all the stops this year. It is going to be happening at the Joshua Tree compound. You want to get your tickets now. Contact in the Desert, June 3rd through the 6th. We're going to be broadcasting live there Friday night. Then we're off to the Roswell Festival, where we're also going to broadcast live June 30th through July 3rd. In Roswell, New Mexico, and then right after that, the Awareness Life Expo at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Sacramento, California. All the links and information that you need for all of the events are over at jimmychurchradio.com. That's too funny what I almost just said. Let's get this show cracking. Today, Tina Fey is 46. Is Tina Fey funny? Is she I mean, I know she does the Dead Nuts Sarah Palin, and I can never get enough of that. 30 Rock was pretty good, but I'm not so sure about Tina Fey. But anyway, I think she's a better writer than she is a comedian. 46 years old. Jack Johnson today is 41. And there you go. On this day in history, in 1980, Mount St. Helens erupts. Yeah, that was in 1980. Wow. Killing 57 people. Ash from the volcanic eruption fell as far away as Minnesota. I remember when it happened, and reading the news and watching it on the news, 1980, that apparently it blew. And I tried to find it today, doing some research. I couldn't pull up this fact, but it stuck with me over all these years, that it blew 5 square miles of rock into the air. Now, imagine 1 mile up, 1 mile across, right? A cube of rock. How much that is? And it did 5 of those? Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Anyway, fader fact. Jack Daniels, his last words were, "One last drink, please." And then kerplunk. Jack Daniels. That is a fader fact. Tonight, very special guest, Dr. Louis Turi. He's here. We're going to be discussing his ET contact. I should make that plural. Contacts and how he makes his predictions. Tomorrow night's another Fader night, open lines all night long. John Rappaport is going to be here with his No More Fake News. Now, our guest tonight is Louis Turi, and we try to cover on this show. We do conspiracy, right? We do conspiracy, and what falls under conspiracy? Well, pretty much today in today's world, everything. Conspiracy is the new normal. And one of the things that falls under that umbrella is UFOs, unidentified flying objects. Could be military, could be ET, could, we don't know. Well, we do, but that's one of the things that falls under that umbrella. And then with that genre, ufology, and you have your researchers and you have your skeptics and so forth. And when we go and listen or read or check out somebody's opinion on UFOs, who do you trust? Right? Who do you trust? That's a tough one. And do you listen to somebody that has witnessed something, has seen something that has influenced them to go into the field, right? And maybe even after they've been researching and writing on the subject, they've seen something else. That's pretty cool, right? So there's that side. And I'm going to put that over to the left. We're going to come back to that. And then you have researchers that haven't seen anything, but they're intrigued. They know that something's going on. They've seen the evidence. And then we have that group, which is a good group. I've had researchers and authors on this show that have never seen anything. And that's an interesting point of view. But they have an open mind. They know that something's going on, and they research it. And that's good. That's solid. And then we move over to another group. So we'll put that one out on the table in front of us. And there's another group, skeptics. Skeptics that have never seen anything. And then that's where I kind of pause. I kind of back up a little bit, because how are you commenting on something that you have never seen before? It's one thing to say you don't like a Ferrari because when you rode in one, you didn't like the leather or whatever. But you can't say that you don't like if you've never ridden in one, you've only looked at them. What is, you don't like the way they look? Right? And then we go to the next level of things, which is the skeptics that have seen something and don't believe their own eyes. And they want to write it off onto something else. Because I have a real big problem with that, because you weren't on the ship. You weren't in the ship. You didn't smell the ship. So you just want to write it off. Well, that doesn't make any sense either. You can't say something's a meteor or a plane or natural phenomena if you're not an expert and there's just no way. So there's that. That's one of the ones that I have the biggest problems with. And then, so with all of those examples out in front of us, then you kind of have to look at yourself. Which category do you fall in? Were you abducted? Is there another category? Are you an experiencer? But we have these four things in front of us. Who are you? Who would you trust? Look at yourself, and then look at these groups in front of us, and where is it that you're going to go? So when you listen to me and you listen to people on this show, always try to remember what category these fall in. Who is it that's giving you this information? You need to do that. You need to do that throughout your life with anything that you're dealing with, but with ufology. And the question of ET contact, it's a complex, hard issue. It's complex. There's so many things that come into play. So when you hear me speak, or when you hear me interview a guest, which category am I coming? I'm coming from the guy. I'm in that first group. I've seen something more than once. So when I interview a guest, I know what I've seen. None of the things that I've seen, and Rita, none of them were the same. And that's bizarre to me. It'd be different if they were all the same and I could draw conclusions, but they're all different. And the 4 sightings that I've had, and the little experience in my bedroom, we'll call that 5, all happened as an adult. So I started to put this together as I was speaking with Dr. Turi earlier today and thinking about this. As a kid, I didn't see anything until I was in my 30s. In my 30s. Never had anything before that. Wanted to, thought about it, never did. And so I rolled back my memory today. I just rolled back. Was there something there that I had forgotten about? Was there something that was just a little clouded? You know? And I went in all directions. Ghosts, UFOs, and just anything. Nothing. I had no paranormal activity in my life until my 30s. Which kind of goes against the grain of a lot of researchers that, you have contact when you're a kid and it continues throughout your life. I never had that. The only thing that I remember seeing that was strange in the sky when I was a kid was, and what was strange about it is that today I went and did some research. And apparently, and I'll get to it in a second, apparently what I saw wasn't flying at that time, which is bizarre. But this is what I saw. 1972, Chicago, front yard of our apartment building, across the street from our school in Waukegan, Illinois, just north of Chicago. Straighten out my chair here. And I see something in the sky, and I look up, and what I see going across the sky was a massive dirigible, not a Zeppelin, not the Goodyear blimp. I don't even think the Goodyear blimp was around in 72, may have been. But this was massive, and it was silver, and I could see the ridges like a Zeppelin. I could see it, and it was just cruising across the sky. Huge. Silent. And I guess from the direction, I know it was going south to north. It was going north. And I'm sorry, it was going north to south towards Chicago. And I saw it. So I went and looked. The last, this is what I found out today. Now, I didn't go that deep into the investigation, but started to look, and the Los Angeles, which was our last, Zeppelin-type ship, wasn't flying them. We didn't have any, right? They were all retired. And which happened, 10 years before. So what was it that I saw in the sky? That's tripping me out. My memory says, Hindenburg, Zeppelin. And that's what I remember. And I stood out there for a number of minutes as this thing went across the sky. Now, I think it was a Zeppelin. But to find out that the Los Angeles or any other Zeppelin wasn't flying back then, and you guys can do the research on this. You can help me figure this out. Do some research. But But back to the point. I didn't have anything strange that I remember going on. I didn't see a UFO. I didn't see anything. But everything that I have seen comes from the mind and the memory of an adult. And that's a bit different than a clouded 50-year-old or 45-year-old memory. Because this memory of the Zeppelin in 1972, I was 8-9 years old. You know, it was quite a while ago, 42, 43, 44 years ago. But I remember it, and I know what happened, but it doesn't fit with the facts that are out there. So what did I see? I don't know. But as an adult, now let's get back to this. As an adult, I've had my 4 sightings. I had the one up in Monterey, the Black Triangle that I've got the photograph of. I have the orb that Rita and I saw together here in the Valley in 2008. And I have the friendly helpful Honda guys sighting that we had in the San Fernando Valley with that spinning silver sphere thing that went up into the atmosphere, right? And then I had my little friendly Casper or whatever, E.T. guy in my bedroom. But all of these are real, solid memories. All 3 sightings, save for the episode in the bedroom, had multiple witnesses. Well, in the case of Rita and I, it was one witness, her. But that we saw with other people. Phenomena that I can't explain. It doesn't fit anything. Nothing that we saw in each incident didn't look like anything that was flying. It didn't look like anything that could have had wings. It didn't look like military stuff. It didn't fit that any of those categories. I'm an aviation guy, and I know my planes. I just do. I know my planes. To this day, I can look at a plane and tell you what country, where it is, and what I can just tell you what it is. And that's the strange part. So when I'm interviewing somebody, I want to know these things. So Dr. Louis Turi, what category does he fall in? He's had some experiences, some very similar to mine. And when I hear him discuss what has happened and how it happened, he brings up a very, very valid point, and one that I'm trying to drive home to you now. Okay? Do you want to listen to somebody that has had a real experience, can't explain it, or do you want to hear from somebody that hasn't had that experience, and he's done the research, but he's coming from a different mindset? Because for me, I come from the mindset is there is something frigging going on because I have seen it. Don't tell me it doesn't exist, because it does. Shut up. And if you're telling me it doesn't exist and you haven't seen anything, then I really don't want to listen to you. You can't tell me that 2 and 2 equals 5, because it doesn't. And it's really that simple. And so tonight we're going to bring on Dr. Louis Turi. And he has had 3 or 4 experiences that we're going to go over tonight that are profound and are very unique. And they're not like anything that you have ever heard before. And that's what I want to know. He's got an amazing story and an amazing history. He's a very, very colorful guy. But when you listen to him tonight, remember that his things that he is going to discuss tonight comes from the mindset of somebody that has been there. Can't explain it. I can't explain it. I can't. All I know is my experiences as an adult. He's got one when he was a kid, very similar to mine, too, as well. It's very, very strange. Our lives, how they're kind of paralleled out. Very, very, very strange. And I'm not going to go into those details now, and I don't know if we're going to waste your time on that tonight. But for him and I, going over some of these things, it's like, what? I mean, it's almost too close. He's a very, very colorful guy, and I really look forward to that. And so tonight, just remember, he comes from the mindset of experience. Now, breaking news today, before I bring in Turi, because we're going to discuss this tonight. That asteroid, by the way, that took out dinosaurs all those years ago that we constantly talk about here, right? Apparently that was nothing, nada. Scientists say today that there was a bigger, huger, humongier hunk of rock from space that whacked Earth like 3.5 billion years ago. Took out everything. Apocalyptic. The asteroid, which is thought to have hit the Earth about 3.46 billion years ago, there's reasons for that number, is estimated to have been huge, 12 to 18 miles across. And its impact would have devastated everything. The team are basing their assessment on the discovery of tiny glass beads called spherules. They materialize from vaporized material caused by an asteroid's impact. The asteroid's possible size was determined by analyzing the size of the spherules. Happened in Australia. It's an important discovery. 3.46 billion years ago. And we thought that we had figured everything out, right? It's pretty interesting. Now, one more thing really quick. Let me get to this. Oh, man. Running out of time here. A novice fossil collector's lucky find in a remote Montana Badlands more than a decade ago has turned out to be a new kind of horned dinosaur. Huge discovery. Go to our Facebook page. Look at the picture. It's absolutely incredible. They made the announcement today. The bones unearthed near Winifred, Montana, represent a previously unknown species of dinosaur that lived about 76 million years ago. Its scientific name is too big for me to pronounce right here, but they're calling it Judith, after the Judith River rock formation where it was found in 2005 by retired nuclear physicist Bill Shipp. The Canadian Museum of Nature paleontologist Jordan Mallon says that Judith is closely related to the Triceratops. Both had horned faces and that elaborate head frill thing, but Judith's horns stick out sideways instead of directly over the eyes. You've got to check out the fight. This thing was huge, too, by the way. This was not some small cruiser dinosaur. No, this thing was absolutely huge. Go to our Facebook page. Check out the picture. I am Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network. Tonight, Dr. Louis Turi on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Health in America is becoming a top priority. Or maybe I should say, good health in the world is becoming a top priority. Maintaining a healthy body can be challenging. How about letting Life Change Tea help you? Our tea you make, you drink, and you benefit. Our unique blend of 8 different herbs helps you maintain good digestion, a healthy colon, and detoxes harmful toxins and parasites out of your body. And you know what? It tastes great. If you're wanting a change, a life change when it comes to health, log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. When you log on to our mobile-friendly website, you can read all the numerous testimonies of how Life Change Tea has helped so many people. We carry many, many beneficial products that help your health and keep you on track. Getthetea.com. Kind of gets in your head, doesn't it? Getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. I'm your also humble host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night is open lines, but we have a very special show tomorrow night. Nurse Nancy had a dream last night. She had a dream about Rita and I and herself and a journey. And so tomorrow night, we're going to bring Nancy on the show. She's going to tell us about the dream. And we are going to have with us, are you guys sitting down? Kelly Sullivan. Yes. And Kelly is going to analyze the dream along with all of us tomorrow night. So that is our Fader tonight. We'll be taking all of your calls and everything else, open lines. But we've got a very cool show lined up for tomorrow night. I'm excited about this. I know I've been told a little bit about the dream, right? And I said, wait, stop right there. Just stop. We have to do this in real time tomorrow night. And now the dream happened last night. So today, immediately, we get Kelly on the phone, and she's in town. You know, she's always doing TV shows and her stuff. You know, she's not on, Good Morning America tomorrow. And we got lucky. And so she is going to be with us tomorrow night with Nancy. We're going to break this down, and I'm going to get to hear the details. I just had to pump the brakes on the entire thing today. So that's tomorrow night. You guys get ready. It's going to be a great show. But tonight, we have Dr. Louis Turi with us. Now, you heard what I had to say in the intro. So get ready and buckle up, because it's going to be one of those nights. He's an author. He's a speaker. He was recognized in 2003 with the Marquis Who's Who in America. Dr. Turi is the personal counselor of many celebrities, including Ivana Trump, Peter Fonda, Gary Busey, Dennis Haysbert, and John Gray, amongst others. Dr. Turi has appeared on Coast to Coast AM, the BBC in London, and has appeared on numerous television programs worldwide. He speaks of the cosmic face and celestial tools of the Creator and warned the world with undeniable, well-documented, undeniable predictions. He has taught entertained audiences on the power of the subconscious all over the world. He grew up in Provence, France, by the way, the birthplace of Nostradamus, and he has spent the last 30 years rekindling the great seer's rare disciplines and its incredible spiritual therapeutic values. His website is drturi.com, and I would a big warm welcome for the first time to Fade to Black, Dr. Louis Turi. Louis, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing very well, and I want to thank you very much for having me on your show, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's, you know what's interesting here, and I kind of talked about this in our intro, but when, I've seen you speak and I've followed you for a while now, and when I hear you talk about your life, and I know what I've been through, some of it is frighteningly exactly the same, right? I was like, wait a minute, man. I am tripping out here, and I just want to say this, Louis, is if you don't mind, I'm going to call you Louis. I can call you Doctor all night, but let's go with Louis, because I feel like we've known each other, right? My life story, I don't tell people, and especially certain details on things. I just don't do it. But I'm excited that you did, because it allowed me to go, wow, holy crap, and I'm glad that you did that, because it really stopped me in my shoes. We're not going to bore everybody with the details of that. We're going to keep that between us. But it is pretty crazy, isn't it? It's pretty weird.
Well, as I teach my students, Jimmy, there are no accidents. Magnets will attract a piece of wood. You vibrate at my cosmic speeds, so you have to share some of the values and the experience that I went through. Simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I don't know if you heard my little intro tonight, but what I talk about on this show, and I do it often because we have new listeners every single day, and they don't have the benefit of hearing certain things. And I tend to repeat myself, but I did tonight because I wanted the audience to understand who you are listening to sometimes. You just need to know where things are coming from. I am not somebody that doesn't have experiences with UFOs and the paranormal, because I do, and I'm interested in it. But you, and I want to start the show here because you are adamant about, I wish I could quote you here, but you're adamant about who would you rather listen to, right? Do you want to listen to somebody that's been there, or do you want to listen to somebody that hasn't, and on a factual sense? And I think that's an amazing point to always bring up to anybody that is listening to you speak, because you come from that mindset. Can you explain that for the audience?
Well, again, there are so many people out there that deal with UFOs and they've never seen a UFO. They've seen a light. In my case, as you probably read my stories or heard my stories, you know that I have had direct contact with extraterrestrials. You're not talking about a light or a walking situation. You're talking about me being inside a flying saucer, me being face to face with them, and me being directly embedded with an extraterrestrial allow me to do those, as you quoted earlier, incredible predictions, something I will for your listening audience later on, with your permission, of course.
Sure. Well, okay, then let's do this. We've got plenty of time to get to the most important stuff, but with you, we're definitely going to run out of time, and we'll do another show. It's just the way life works with a guest like yourself. But I want to go through the timeline for the audience a little bit here, because you have 4 unique experiences, and then plus we're going to get to the new stuff too as well. But let's put this timeline together. Let's start off in France when you were a child, and that experience, and also your parents' reaction to that too as well. Let's kind of start there. What happened?
Well, I was pretty handful as a kid, because I was born with tons and tons of mercurial energy. So I'm a writer, I'm a speaker, I'm an ADD, I'm an ADHD, I'm extraordinarily mentally and physically active. So it was pretty difficult to keep me sitting for long. And of course, I was always, in fact, I was kicked out of school. I was, 13 years old. And to punish me, I used to spend quite a lot of time in the attic by myself. And again, during those days, we didn't have water, we didn't have electricity. So I recall coming the stairs with candlelights, and my mom saying to me, I'll make sure to turn it off because we don't want to put the house on fire. Anyway, so go upstairs and lay down on my mattress out there, and very often I had a cat who was waking up with a cat which with the rest of the rats that it had eaten, because next to the house there was a butcher, and during those days it did not, there was no FDA. They was killing all the animals and preparing everything right there, and all the blood and the gas was running down the house. So we had plenty cats and plenty rats. As I said, I used to wake up with those close to me. So that tells you the type of upbringing I had to go through. And in one of those, and it was pretty cold. The very old house, was standing by miracle because so many German bombing destroyed the entire village. And my grandfather could not repair the house. So we were living there, no electricity, no water, no restroom. It was just a nightmare. And I was cold. I was very, very cold. And in order for me to keep warm, I always look for a cat, and I sleep with the cat. That was my only source of heat. And that night, I felt one of the cats, what I thought was a cat, at the bottom of the bed. So I actually kicked the cat, trying to, bother him enough so he would come up the bed to my head. But it did not move. So I thought, okay, I have to, go and grab it now and get cold. Anyway, and as I sat on the bed, that is the first time ever that I saw what I called them and refer at little monkeys with big eyes to my mother the next day. And then when I saw those things, I was, what the hell is that? I got frightened. I got so frightened that I got right back into the bed, and trust me, I was not cold anymore.
Louis, how old were you at this time?
I was about 6 or 7 years old. Might be a little. I can't remember. So I'm 66. It's a long time ago. But that was the first time, and it must have been before the age of 10 years old.
Right.
That was already really bad. And then I got courageous again, and I, build a blanket to see if those things was there, and one of them was literally a couple inches from my head, from my eyes, on top of the bed, and I just passed out of fright. And then, of course, the next day I screamed my head off and tried to tell my mom and my dad that little monkey with big eyes were, in the attic with me, and of course they thought I was making up the story up because I didn't want to. I wanted to stay with the brothers and sisters in the bottom of the house.
Of course.
They didn't believe me, and they put me right back there every single night. And every single night those things were coming. But I realized after a while that even though they were pretty scary things and they were doing their own thing, I was always awakened the next day safe and sound. So I was wondering that, whatever they were doing, they were not going to hurt me. So that is my first UFO experience, extraterrestrial experience. And again, in the 60s, we didn't have any radio, no television. Nobody could educate me on what extraterrestrial, grays, or ET, or anything else for that matter were all about. So I had to discover this phenomenon on my own in a very, very dramatic way. So that is the first time, Jimmy, that I get acquainted to this phenomenon.
Let me ask you this: can you describe what you were seeing? What the color of the skin? Did you smell anything? Did they smell strange?
No. What I recall was saying to my mom, I saw little monkeys because they were pretty, were like 2 or 3 feet tall. And to me, they were like little monkeys because they were small with big eyes. And during those days in the 60s, there were quite a lot of reports also in Russia involving a surge of abduction, and with a lot of people, a lot of kids, specifically children, that were referring to little monkey with big eyes.
Right.
So that's what a child would refer at, and that's what I refer them at. Little monkey with big eyes.
Now, as an adult, certainly with all of your experience now, but when you look back at it now and you listen to other witness testimony, certainly my experience was very similar to yours too as well. Do you think that everybody is seeing the same thing?
Well, again, I would think so. I think that I was dealing with what you call the dignified robots, the Greys, those who are doing the dirty work, flying the saucer, catting the cows, and taking care of some of the lower range of the extraterrestrial range, put it this way. The dignified robots or the Greys, that's what I was dealing with. And I did not know then, of course, the repercussion of what all those experiences were going to bring to my life later on. But I think this is where the first abduction started, and they were doing things that came a little bit more clearer after my second experience.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second. I want to stay on this first experience because I think it's incredible. Did you feel a communication?
No, not at all, Jimmy. I was too frightened, and I passed out. And each time I saw them, every single night after that, when I saw them, there is no words in the English dictionary to express the panic, the fear, the feelings of seeing these little things that I didn't know who they were, what they wanted to me. And I was, I think, much too young for them to try to communicate like they did again in the second row.
Right. And I guess another thing that I'm trying to get to is, did they try to calm you down?
No,
nothing like that.
Speak at all. They were muted. Literally, there was no sounds. There was no sound coming out in the attic. There were no form of communication, or if there were something, and that is definitely a given, it was done mentally, and it was done at me not knowing about it.
Right.
I firmly believe they were doing something in my brain. Put it this way.
Sure, of course. Did they touch you? Do you remember that?
No. Absolutely not. I just passed out each time. I was so afraid.
Yeah. Well, if they would have touched you, you would have definitely passed out. So
I think, indeed, it's such a traumatic experience. So the extraterrestrials are not idiots. They know the effect they have, and unless you're prepared, like they prepared me, to deal with them on a physical level, they have to prepare you. As I say in my newsletter today, it's pretty much like NASA training their astronauts for a very short space trip, so to speak. Those guys have to be trained for years before they can do something. So there is definitely a very, very solid reason that I understand today. But then it was just total darkness, and I was petrified. I mean, like anybody would be, like any child would be.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And how long did this continue?
Well, one of the reasons that I left my home, I was about 14 years old when I finally left my home, because my mom and my dad was fighting too much, and I was developing some very serious otite, infectious. I had an ear infection, and regardless of the thousands of penicillin unity the doctor was sticking into my body, I could not stop the infection. So I realized later on that I was making a subconscious wish not to hear my parents screaming and I developed the disease. So I moved to my grandmother when I was about 14 and a half or 15 years old, and the very next day when I moved to my grandma's house, the infection ceased immediately because my grandmother never raises a voice. So I did not wish anymore. I was not manipulating the superconscious against myself then. It is something that I have learned, of course, as I grew up. But I'd say until the age of 14 or 15 years old, this was a regular thing every single night. But I felt more confident after a certain time because, as I told you earlier, I awoke the next day, and I awake the next day, and I was perfectly fine. So I thought, well, they're not going to hurt me, so that's fine. And I just took it. I just accepted it.
This was in Provence, France, the birthplace of Nostradamus. And with your research and stuff, do you think that Provence is a special place, that this is something, an area that E.T. is interested in? And possibly did Nostradamus himself have contact?
Nostradamus had a direct connection with extraterrestrials. In fact, I have one of his quatrain is very clear, which I translated. He was in direct contact with extraterrestrial. He saw the spaceship landing, and he was also in an MG-12. In other words, he was a commissioned contactee to enter the superconscious in time and space and dwell with the archetypal realm of superconsciousness and make his prediction exactly like I do. Now, I am not Nostradamus, but those experiences led me, for some, again, incredible reasons, to spend much of my life rekindling his 16th century divine astrology methodology, which has nothing to do with modern astrology, of course.
Sure.
It's all interconnected, Jimmy. It's all very much connected.
Yeah, there are no coincidences, right?
No accidents. No accidents.
None whatsoever. So now, your next contact, and this experience of yours, I find extraordinary. And the first time that I heard you talk about it, I was dumbfounded in that I've never heard. I'm talking about the one with your sister. I have never heard of something like this before, and it is compelling.
Oh my God!
Yes, and so. But what I would like for you to do is there's a setup for this trip with your sister that starts back at your house with your mom. Your sister has left, right, and then she comes back, and then so tell the whole story. I mean, I want you to because it's incredible.
Well, first of all, to this day, Jimmy, even right now, I am still so upset. I felt so invaded, so powerless, and pissed off. I wish they had told me a little bit more then, instead of letting me go through all that hell. To the realization of what Draco, the extraterrestrial, working through me is all about. So what happened, during those days I was in England. And I was at the Royal School of Music, and I was learning how to play piano, and I was a recording artist. And in fact, my first record sold all over Europe, had thousands of copies, hundreds of thousands. So that, in my mind, I wanted to be a recording artist. I didn't want to become the Dr. Turi that I am today. So I was really, really concerned in learning English because I knew the musical field, everything was English. So I had to master the English language, which I did, and I never took a single lesson. I learned the hard way. In fact, the first word I ever learned was when I was in Victoria Station, stuck for 6 months, begging for money. I went shopping and I asked the lady to give me the cheapest tin that she had. And then I went back to Victoria Station, opened the tin, and then ate it. And it was pretty chunky. Then I got my French dictionary translator, and I read the first words. I read the meaning of the first word, what dog mean. So I was eating dog food. So this is how I picked up English. So I came back to France, regularly, maybe once or twice a year. I used to go back home and spend a week or two, and then go back and go back to work and go back to study in England. And that was a Sunday that I arrived, and everybody was there. I hugged everybody, kissed everybody, and then I was asking where my little sister was, and my mom said, "Oh, she left to go to work." During those days, Noelle was a training nurse, and she used to work in the French mountain, in a sanatorium, some places. Anyway, and then I was kind of upset to miss my little sister. But she came back, like I mentioned earlier. She came back, and she was upset and crying. She said that she missed the bus, and she was afraid of getting fired if she couldn't get on the job the next day. So my mom says, "Don't you worry. Louis is going to take you there." The only problem is I was, 22 years old, maybe, or 19. We didn't have a cell phone. Didn't know what the GPS was about. We were driving around with a map, and I never touched a map in my life.
Right.
And you know the French south of France, all these little tortuous little roads to go everywhere. So, cut the story short, we left at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's now 4 o'clock in the morning. We left at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I drove and I drove and I drove, and now and then I stopped and asked for direction to the hospital where my sisters were working. And then finally, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm exhausted. I'm praying God that ain't to find anything open so I could have a cup of coffee. And in the middle of nowhere, you have to remember, France is not like the United States, the place which is operational 24 hours a day with McDonald's everywhere. I mean, you're talking, it might be in 1972, 73, and then you're talking about the south of France. So I could see in the bottom of the valley some light, and I said, "Oh, interesting. Maybe I got lucky." And I drove down there, and I recalled very, very clearly when I woke my sister up. I said, "We're going to stop here." I recall very clearly when I asked her what she wanted to drink, that she wanted a Coca-Cola, and it was freezing. There was ice in the road, and I wanted to have a hot coffee. So it's something that sticks in my mind. So I walk her up, and I say, "We're going to stop here." And again, there were absolutely nobody. There was a deserted little parking, and in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, you've got that little restaurant open.
Yeah, in France at 4 a.m., there is nothing open. Yeah,
no,
right.
But I was so tired. I was in the zone, Jimmy.
Sure.
I was so tired. I did not think twice. All I wanted is to get a cup of coffee so I could stay awake and don't kill us and find my way to where the hell I was supposed to go. So the first thing I said as I entered the little restaurant is my sister to sit on the right side, right by the door. I said, "Sit there by the door, and I'm going to go and get you Coca-Cola, and I'm going to get my coffee." And as I walk in, the reason why I asked her to sit by the door is because I'm very protective. And I saw 3 monster guys.
Okay. That's where I have to jump in. We have to take a break, and it's a perfect time. You timed that perfectly, Louis. Awesome. Let's take a break right there, because what happens next is unbelievable. Truly an experience that you're not going to believe. Our guest tonight is Dr. Louis Turi. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. What happened next at this bar in the middle of nowhere, in the mountains, in France, in the snow, is extraordinary. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you. And your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night, very special show for Fader Night. We're going to have Nurse Nancy in here, who just had a dream last night about Rita and I and her. And it's a journey. It's an adventure. And along with that, Nancy's going to come on and tell her story tomorrow night about what happened last night. And we got very lucky. Kelly Sullivan is going to be here to analyze the dream in real time. And it's going to be great. So get ready. That is tomorrow night. But tonight, it's Dr. Louis Turi. Let's get back to where we left off, Louis. So you parked the car. I'll do a little recap. You parked the car. You're taking your sister to the south of France where she works. And snow, cold, 4 a.m., you need coffee, and for some reason, up ahead is a bar that is open in the middle of nowhere with an empty parking lot. And you pull up with your sister, she wants a cold Coke, and you want coffee, and you walk in, and there's 3 dudes and a bartender. What happens next?
Yeah, those 3 dudes, in my mind, I thought they were luggers because they were so big. But as I said, I was exhausted. I could not think straight. I was tired. So I went to the bar. I asked the barman the Coca-Cola and the coffee. Give me the Coke first. I went back, gave it to my sister, which was already back asleep, by the way. And then I went back to the bar. And then this is where, my God, this is amazing. My nose was just above the belt of the 3 guys. They were looking ahead, but they were motionless. They were not speaking. They were like steel, like mannequin that you put clothes on. To say they were like dead, but they were there, all dressed in black, of course. And then, as I was waiting for my coffee, the guy, one of them, turned around. I look up, I look at his face, and he says to me, guess what card that is? I was totally blown away. What the hell would this guy ask me to play a card game at 4 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere? I realized later on that it was just a way to get my attention and to dwell with my subconscious, obviously. So I thought he's too big. I was kind of a very tough guy and still a tough guy at 66, but I would not pick up a fight with his guy. He was a monster. He could have killed me with one punch. Anyway, I thought I might as well just compromise and pull the cards. And as soon as I pulled the cards and my eyes saw the cards, he was telling me what he was. That was interesting. Then I was not, as I said, I was too tired to enjoy or react to anything. Then he says, pick another card. I look at him and I said, you know what, I'm here just for a drink and get direction, man. And he says, now, come on, Louis, pick a card. Oh, my gosh. The hair on my neck just started to erect straight. What the hell does he know my name? I never talked to this guy. I never met this guy. And he's telling me, Louis, pick up a card. I was just, again, my heart was really pumping fast here.
Well, did you think that was a trick?
No, not at all. That was not a trick.
I mean,
no, that was real.
Well, no, what I mean, Louis, is when you're with, I know this, I know what's about to happen. I know that it wasn't, but what I'm saying is at that moment, when you're dealing with magicians and street magicians, and somehow they figure out your name, and it's a card, and it's a trick, right? And you're trying to figure out the trick. That's not where this was coming from, was it?
No, that was impossible because I just met the guy and spoke to him like just a few words.
Right.
It's not like if I know him and saw him before, totally out of the blue. Somebody calls you your name and they never seen him before. You got to start to think twice if he's a trick or not.
Right.
But anyway, then he asked me to pick up another card, and each time he was telling me what it was. Then in my mind, that's where I thought that I'm going to see if this guy, because I was smart enough to see if he was in my mind or not. I said, I'm going to test this guy. He showed me the nine of diamond, and I thought I'm going to change the nine of diamond with the queen of spades. He looked at me and he says, no, Louis, you are not going to change the nine of diamond for the queen of spades.
Wow.
Whoa, that was enough for me. I was just looking at this guy. I'm trying to get away from him. I can't move. Then all of a sudden, I asked the barman, I says, where is the bathroom, please? I felt that I was going to pass out. Okay, so I gathered all the strength that I could, and the bathroom was barely 5 feet away. The door was open. I didn't even close the door. I opened the frozen tap of water, put that water in my face, and I felt like I had a chain connecting me to this guy's head. I was speaking to him in my head. I said, oh my God, you may be big and strong, but hell, my friend, you're going to tell me what the F you're doing with me here. That's exactly how I thought. And trust me, it didn't take long for me to put some water in my face and then talk to him and go right back to the bar. And when I went back to the bar, they were gone. I asked the barman, first of all, I looked at my sister to see if she was safe, and my sister was asleep by the door. I asked the barman, I said, where are those guys? Oh, he said, oh, they just left. So I gathered all the courage again that I could have left. I went outside, looked left, looked right, and then went back in. I said, who are those guys? He said, I don't know. They just came before you, and then you can only come here with a car. I said, no trace in the snow, no car, nothing whatsoever. I walked my sister up in a hurry. I don't even recall if I paid the guy or not. I said to my sister, let's get the hell out of here. And I am grabbing her, and we're in the car, and I'm driving away. The next thing I recall, and then I do not want to see my mother or my son if I'm lying to you. The next thing I recall is 9 o'clock in the morning. I am on my way back, entering the little village that I left 14 or 15 hours earlier.
What did you...
I don't remember where my sister is. I don't recall, and she does not know either when I ask her, do you recall that night ending up at where you work? She says no. We do not remember absolutely nothing as soon as we get into the car and drove away from that so-called little restaurant open in the middle of nowhere in the south of France.
She remembers the Coke, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she remembers the Coke.
She remembers everything past the moment. They put her asleep, put it this way.
Right.
They put her asleep as soon as she enters the little bar, put it this way. This is what I'm sure they did. Because she is totally don't remember anything after. She doesn't even remember going back into the car to tell you how it is.
And you know what's amazing is the three guys. They didn't drive there because you pulled up. It was an empty parking lot, right? So they didn't drive. They didn't drive away. They walked away. You went outside and you didn't see them on the road. How far could they have gotten if they were walking?
Right, exactly. I mean, it's just, you know, to this day, as I said earlier, I am still pissed off and because of the way I felt, so embedded, so powerless, so minuscule in front of some people, some entities, some extraterrestrials that are able to literally know exactly what's in your head. That's scary. That is very scary. There is absolutely no privacy. That would make the Secret Service, the NSA, completely looking like children compared to what those extraterrestrials can do.
What did they? Oh, I'm sorry, Lou. I didn't mean to cut you off. What color was their hair? What did they look like?
You know, I'm sure you heard of the Men in Black. That is the closest picture that I could give you. The only thing is, they have nothing to do with the government. They have nothing to do with the Secret Service. In fact, the government and the Secret Service are still clueless to what extraterrestrial and UFO phenomenon or their agenda is all about.
Well, and you know now that they were there to meet you. You know, there was a reason why you pulled over. They knew, and they were there to meet you.
I believe they set up the entire scenario, even the little restaurant in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
It had to be something that appeared to a human being safe enough for me to enter. I firmly believe what it was nothing else than a spaceship. But they, you know, like in a movie theater, they make it believable. And because I'm telling you, Jimmy, it's impossible. Even that little restaurant, I've been looking for it over and over and over again. Okay, it does not exist.
Right. That was my next question. Did you go back, or was it even there?
Oh, hell yeah, of course. You bet I went back. Oh, man, I couldn't sleep. Man. And then, but what is worse, and why I'm still mad at them, is the headache that I had to suffer for weeks after that meeting. I would never wish it to my worst enemy. I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me. I was swallowing a painkiller like you have no tomorrow, trying to stop the headaches. And they finally went, but they stayed there for weeks.
Did you
weeks
change
at a time?
Yeah, did you change after that? And was it a download?
I have no idea what it was, to tell you the truth. I know now, but then I did not know, because it came a little bit more clear in the third and the fourth, and obviously at the fifth. That's when it all comes down to what really happened.
Sure.
But I thought to myself after this experience, wow, I was traumatized, Jimmy. I was traumatized. I thought there is something going on with me, because I connected with what happened to me earlier when I was a kid for so long. And I thought I better start to make notes and start to get the exact date when these things happen, just for the sake of it. And during those days, I had absolutely no idea of the cosmic codes, jurisdictions. I did not know about the planet interacting with the human psyche and producing the news and producing everything, that all extraterrestrials are cosmic conscious. They understand the cosmic code. Humans are not yet at that level. We discuss that a little bit more later on, again, with your permission. But the third one, that is when I had the 150% unarguable, undoubtedly.
Hey, let me ask you this. We're gonna discuss this right now. But your brother, does he talk about it today? Just yes or no. Just yes or no. And then,
yes. Finally. He kept quiet for many years because my brother is a big guy, hotels, restaurants, mafiosos, or discotheques, ski station. He's dealing with very big people, and of course he didn't want anything but the sucker. After 30 years or 25 years of the Christmas dinner, he finally told the entire story, and everybody realized I was not crazy then. But he kept it secret for many, many years.
But today he'll talk about it today.
Oh yeah, completely. He says my children needs to know the truth.
Right.
I said, yeah. What about me?
Okay. I would like to meet your brother someday.
Right now he's running business in Africa.
Well, because the story is out of control. I mean, truly an extraordinary event. And like I said, I've had my own. But this, and to have it happen with your brother, I just think is great and is fantastic.
And my sister.
Yeah, right. Well, okay.
And my wife. Okay, so can I go into the third one?
Yeah, let's go to your brother. Yeah.
Okay, so again, I went back to England. I finally got my recording deal with Phonogram Philips Record Company based in Paris. And I had my record released, and I was happy, but at the same time, I did not feel the music, but I was moving in that direction full speed. But something was not there completely. I didn't know what it was yet until that experience with my brother had become very clear. Then I went back home. That was November 11, 1981, and the one afterward that took place, the fourth one, happened August 11, 1991. Okay, so understand they have the exact date when those two experiences took place. So the same story. Went back home. My brother had his new discotheque over there, and he wanted me to promote my record and sing and all that good stuff. And my brother, during those days, lived in a big farm away from the little village. He had horses and he had plenty ground, and the French lifestyle, especially this type of line of work. You go to bed after your breakfast around 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. You sleep all day and you start again 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So I was living upside down. And then that night, November 11, 1981, this will stay carved in my brain until I pass out, until I die, literally. And my brother was driving a brand new Mercedes. And trust me, these things are very reliable. I have an AMG, so they are very, very reliable machines. We took off the farm at 10 o'clock on the dot every single night. We had to drive through the vineyards. That would take us to the RN7, which is a major route, and then to the highway, and nearly an hour later to the discotheque in the big city next door. So that was a given. That's what we did every single day and every single night. So we were driving. We left at 10 o'clock, like always. And as we were driving through the vineyards, I saw some lights. I was on the passenger side. I saw some light on the right side of the car. And I asked my brother, I said, people working in the vineyard? My brother is a Scorpio, so he's very direct. He doesn't talk much. And he goes, Louis, it's November. Grapes were picked in September. In other words, shut up. Okay, it's that way. He's very, very square. Does he talk? Only when he has to talk. He never smoked and he never drank. I never seen him doing this. Only that night. Let me explain. We were still driving, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, the entire area is bathed in the brightest light you could ever dream of. Like daylight, literally, daylight. I said, holy goosey, what the hell is that? So I had my nose against the windshield, but him and I couldn't see nothing, just the light. So I said, I'm going to get out. He said, oh, no, stay in the car. I said, Joe, come on, let me get out. Let me see what the hell it is. You see, it's a helicopter. I said, it's not a helicopter. I don't hear the flip-flop. I fly a helicopter, so I know. I didn't then, but I know what the sound of a helicopter. So I actually managed to get away from his grip, and the big, courageous mafioso brother was shitting his pants, excuse my French. He was scared like hell. He didn't get out of the car. I went out, and I looked above again, and I could only see bright light to the point where I was blinded. Then I heard a noise, like a humming noise, type of noise. And people says when you are so close to a flying saucer, you're going to get burned, you're going to get cooked. Not true. That thing was barely 35 feet above a dead Mercedes in the middle of nowhere, and I didn't get burnt. So I knew there was some intelligence flying that saucer. I didn't know it was a saucer yet, remember? It was all bright. Because they turned all the lights off. All the lights under the flying saucer were turned off, and only a yellow, reddish, goldish light came on top of me in the car. That's all I recall. I was looking around me. I could see my brother inside of the car, his eyes popping out of his head, asking me to go back in the car. And I was still looking at that thing. And it took me a while for my eye to adjust to the darkness, and that's where I saw, in all its splendor, a humongous flying saucer suspended barely 35 feet above the car. I was screaming every nasty French word that was ever created, banging the car, asking my brother to get out to look at it. My God, Jojo, a flying saucer, look at it, come out. Of course, he did not. He was so scared. But my heart was pumping again. I said, what the hell's going on? Those things when I was a kid, then those guys gave me a headache for weeks. That could read my mind. And now the obvious, undeniable proof that UFOs are not the products of imagination. They are real. Trust me, Jimmy. It changes your entire conceptions of life to the point where I came back to England to keep doing my music, and I didn't feel it. I thought there's something with me. There's something else for me to sing in cat record. There is something.
With I've seen your illustration of it. It was quite large. What do you think was the dimensions of it? I mean, did it fill up your vision? It looked to me with the size of the Mercedes and you standing out of the car that it was probably maybe 100 feet, maybe, or was it bigger?
Even more, I would say. He was going past the roads. He was going all over the vineyard. And what is incredible, Jimmy, is that you had power lines right there on the side of the road. And when that thing finally turned the lights on again and flew off, the flying saucer must have been barely 10 feet above the chimney of the farm that was on the left side. Because he came from my right, and he stopped above us for about maybe a minute and a half, and then took off again and turned the light on and took off again. But he stayed stationary on top of the car.
Now, we're going to be headed towards a break here in just a second. So let's stop right there because we have to obviously you've got to get to the club with your brother, and that's where things get really, really strange. And we're going to pick it up there. But I do need to make we have breaking news right now. An Egypt Air flight has disappeared off of radar. Flying from Paris to Cairo, It's Egypt Air flight number MS-804 departed Paris at 2309 CEST heading to Cairo, and it has disappeared from radar. We're going to get some updates on this as the night continues, but this is a live radio show, and this is breaking news, and I don't know how this stuff happens, but it does, and we have another flight that is missing. And we will pick up any more news as we can as the show. I'm just bummed out when I have to do this, but there you go. Egypt Air flight number MS-804 has disappeared from radar, flying Paris to Cairo. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight is Dr. Louis Turi. More with the good doctor right after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you know what's in your body soap? Well, I didn't know the answer until about 5 years ago when I looked at the label of my soap and was shocked to see all the chemicals. For my entire life, I had been assaulting the largest organ of my body, my skin, and to think my children were using it too. Well, a lot has changed since then. Today, my family and I operate Stone City Farms, where we make and sell all natural goat milk soap using fresh goat milk from goats we raise on our farm. Our mission at Stone City Farm is to produce high-quality, all-natural goat milk soap for people who want a fresh, unrefined, natural product. At Stone City Farms, we offer scented and unscented soaps and a signature line of gift sets customizable to your needs. To see what our customers are saying, go to StoneCityFarm.com. Use the code NATURAL for a 20% discount. That's StoneCityFarm.com, code NATURAL for 20% off your order. You never know what could be hiding in your soap.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's out of here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With a mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Our guest tonight, Dr. Louis Turi. Quick update, Egypt Air, that flight was at 37,000 feet when it disappeared before entering Egyptian airspace. 69 people on board, 59 passengers, and 10 crew. More as, what is it with disappearing planes? I don't get it. But as we continue, we will do this.
If there was some kind of...
Are you there?
I am here.
Okay.
Jimmy?
Yeah, can you turn down what's in the background?
There's nothing behind.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's me. That is not you. I'm watching. I've got TVs on here too as well. I forgot that I had. It's funny. The screens are muted, but the output is still flying through the studio. That was me. I apologize for that.
That's okay. For your information, Jimmy, a few weeks ago I gave all my worldwide reading audience the date of the 20th to be ready for terrorist attack. And what you are exploring right now with this airliner is definitely a terrorist attack. Is the window that I gave was for the 20th, but because of the geographical location, this window is active in the Middle East, it's active in Europe, not in the U.S. yet. So the U.S. has to be ready for some deadly, devastating news around the 20th. That's why I wanted to give you a heads up on my predictions.
And let's. We're going to go through all of that in just a bit. And wow, this is the thing, Louis. When the Friday the 13th attacks happened in Paris, I was live on the air then. I was on Coast to Coast that night, not on Fade to Black. And for me, because I'm doing a show. That's the thing. I'm doing a show and it's live. And when stuff like this breaks during the show, I like to think that I'm a happy guy, and I like to have fun and let's explore these subjects. And when stuff like this happens, I have a decision to make. What do I do here? But I have to break the news. This is a live show, but it also, it throws you and I off of, and it bums the audience out and everything else. So look, that's the breaking news. I just want everybody to be aware. But it's tragic. It's just absolutely tragic.
And may I also insert that I sent a direct email to the French commissariat in Paris a week before the attack, and that led me to have the visit of the FBI twice. They came in my house wondering how I knew that the attack in Paris was going to take place on the exact date. And I had to explain to the FBI that I had a software that I designed that allows me not only to make predictions, but to help people to find their way through life, to heal themselves. Of course, I stay clear to the UFO phenomenon because those FBI agents were like the kids, like 40 years old, 45 years old, and they are not cosmic conscious. So I don't want them to ridicule me, so I didn't say anything about UFOs. But as I said, they visited me twice. So I had 4 FBI agents coming after my predictions, and that's what I just did tonight again. And you check the news.
Yes. Wow. Here we go. Here we go again with another event. But let's you know what? The show must go on, right? So let's change the mood a little bit, and let's go back. Now, you and your brother, you're in the Mercedes. The craft has now flown away, went across the fields, the vineyards, and disappears. You guys have a show to do. You're going to be singing at your brother's club, right?
Right. And I didn't sing that night, by the way.
Right.
No, what really got me that night, Jimmy, is that the first thing my older brother Joe said is, Louis, this did not happen. I was about to smack him in the face, and I thought, I know better than to do that. He would have me killed. So anyway, we went back. We arrived at the discotheque. Usually when we arrive at a discotheque, we have a few groupies, we have the staff, preparing the night because we don't open before 11:30. When we arrived, it was packed. The discotheque was full and running. So my brother and I, we look at each other and says, what the hell? He was looking at his watch. He was trying, because he's very rational, he's very logical, he was trying to make sense. How is it possible we didn't do anything different. We just drove here. We stopped 5 minutes in his mind. So, of course, something happened over there, but he didn't know. And then for the first time in my entire life, that was the first and last time that I saw my brother Joe. He was pumping on a big cigar, and he had a glass of whiskey in front of him.
And he obviously didn't drink or smoke, but he did that night, didn't he?
He did that night, yes, and he never did after that. But what I'm trying to say is he and I were, again, in shock. And that's where I realized something, for the universe to allow me to witness the reality of extraterrestrials without any single doubt. There's got to be something that I have to do outside of just entertaining people, singing or playing piano.
What about lost time? What was that calculation?
Well, again, normally it takes 1 hour. We must be at the discotheque by 11 o'clock, period. We always arrive at 11 o'clock. I know for sure we always leave the farm at 10. So there's already 1 hour here, right? But when we arrived, the discotheque was going, and we opened at 11:30.
Right.
So you're talking about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Right.
But including the trip, of course, because the trip takes 1 hour. So maybe 1 hour. My brother and I would disappear for 1 hour in with a fraction of a second.
Right. And I wanted to jump back. I'm going to take about 30 seconds to tell you this. With the missing bar that you and your sister went to, when I was a kid, I forgot. That was my other paranormal experience that I had. Anyway, I was about 20 years old, and I was driving in Indianapolis, and I drove by this little house that was on my left that was for rent, and it had a pool in the front yard, and it was just a small, a cool-looking house in the middle of the summer, and I see this pool, and I see the for rent sign, and I get all excited. I was living in an apartment in downtown Indianapolis. I was like, man, I'm going to move out of that and rent this house for the summer with my friends and the pool. And I get out, I park my car, and I go and I look at the house. And right next to the house, it was in the woods, by the way. Next to the house was a little graveyard with like 8 gravestones, like a family plot kind of thing. And I remembered that, and I thought, wow, it's kind of creepy, but who cares? The house is cool, right? So I go and I gather my friends, and I tell them, hey, man, I found this house. It's for rent. I got to show it to you. And we drive back. This is a street I had driven on many, many times, and we drive back, and the house isn't there. Right? And we drive up and down this street. I'm like, no, maybe it's on this other street, but now this other street doesn't have woods. No, it's got to be this one. And we drive back, and the house was gone. It wasn't there. And
wow.
I literally got out and looked at everything, the little white picket fence. And so when you say things like that about this bar and you go back and it's not there, it happened to me, man. It was like my friends just thought, church, man, you got to stop smoking weed, man, because you got to quit, man. But it really happened, and I don't know how to explain it. Time warp, vortex, another dimension. I don't know how to explain it, but I never saw that house again, and I looked for it for a couple of years. So,
yep.
Okay, so back to you and your brother. What happened the next day? Did you confront him?
The next day, first of all, he said he made me swear that not word would come out of my mouth out of this experience, because, as I said, he knows a lot of big people, didn't want anybody to think we were crazy. So the next day, my mother called me asking me if my brother was right. So he has a very close connection with my mother. So he already told my mom. He had to tell somebody. He already told my mom what happened, and he made he asked her the same thing that I did. He said, "Don't say nothing. When it'll be time, I will let everybody know." And then it happened 30 years later at a Christmas dinner when he stand up and he said, "I have something to say because I think the children needs to know the truth."
Right.
And then, he's the big brother, he's the alpha male in the family.
Right.
So the older one. So everybody pay attention. And that was good for me because the rest, we are 8 in the family. The rest of the brothers and sisters look at me finally like I was normal because I didn't give a shit. I mean, excuse my French. I didn't care. I was saying to everybody, no, this is what happened. He didn't want me to say anything, but I said the truth because that's the way I am. I'm not afraid to say the truth. Never did, never will.
And how did you change?
Oh, that was the culminant point of my life because I went back, as I said, to England, and I felt very strongly that something had to happen. I worked 3 jobs. I was a training nurse. I worked in a restaurant. I worked in a hospital. I had to work and I felt a very strong urge to fly to the United States, to move to the United States. And it did happen. In April 1984, I just took a one-way ticket and came to the United States. And when that plane flew over Los Angeles, I was scared to death because it takes me, 5 minutes to cross my village. And all of a sudden, I'm in one of the biggest cities in the world. I was pretty scared. And then the reason why I left is because I met a guy in London in a discotheque. He was American. He was from San Diego. He gave me a quarter. And I asked him if he had something for America because I was mesmerized. So he gave me a quarter and he gave me his business card. And he says, when you come to the United States, I'm going to help you. So I said, okay, I'm coming. And then 3 or 4 months later, I was in the States. And then I arrived in L.A. I took the Greyhound, dropped me in San Diego. And there I was with my big suitcase, my master tape, and my bag in April. And I was looking for him. And I had his business card. So I walk up and down Mission Boulevard looking for that little T-shirt business that the card said. And when I arrived there were 2 old people there. And I said, excuse me, can I speak to Tom? And Tom who? I don't know, maybe he's your son or I don't know. Look, I have his card here. They look at the card. The address was correct. But they said, we don't have any time. It's just my wife and I here. We've been here forever. And then I said, okay. As I said, I had no phone. I said, could you please call this number? They called the number for me. It landed nowhere. What? I'm still looking for the guy. Furthermore, only 2 weeks ago, my wife and I, we went down to San Diego. I was looking for that place, and it disappeared. But obviously, 30-something years ago, chances are someone else, bought it and rebuilt it or destroyed it. I don't know. But, Jimmy, somebody gave me a card. That person gave me a quarter, which I still have today. And that person, I've never seen that person again. So I end up in the United States with $50 in my pocket, and I was homeless. I was scared to death, and I spent the little money that I had on a motel on Mission Boulevard. The next day I woke up, and someone left a newspaper by the door, and I opened it. It was La Jolla Light, and I read that somebody was looking for a roommate. So I didn't have enough money to take the bus, so I asked the guy downstairs. I said, hey, where is La Jolla? He said, oh, he said, right there. Right there, yes. It took me all day just to walk there.
Yeah, Mission Boulevard to La Jolla. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I walked with a big bag, and my suitcase had 2 very small wheels. They didn't make the suitcase like they have today with wide. So that thing was flipping and flopping every second, and I had this big, huge, big bag. So I'm telling you, But when finally, because I called the lady and she said, okay, come and see us. When I arrived at a place, she said, oh my gosh, she never expected to see me with my suitcase. She said, you're moving in. And then she explained to me that all she wanted was 2 or 3 guys like me. We all put $200 or $300, and then we all get a big house by the ocean. That was the plan. Luckily for me, that lady had a daughter that was taking French, and she was behind. And she said to me, I'll tell you what, you can stay on my couch, and then you can help my daughter until you get something going for you. The very same day, I find a job in the French Gourmet in La Jolla, and Michel is still my best friend that I know for 35 years. He's the one who helped me literally from the get-go to have the possibility to live in the United States and to be finally married and to be a legal alien. But I deal with very legal alien from all sorts, trust me.
Yeah, right. Now, did you feel changed mentally after these?
No, not really. I was just, I started at the bottom at Michel's restaurant, and he was telling me that he wanted to have his business to pick up. He had a small bakery. But I said, if you want this to happen, you have to leave it to me and give me full power. He said, what do you mean? I said, you have to make me general manager. And he did. And the next day, everybody was complaining because I was asking the baker to make the bread at 5 in the afternoon, not 5 in the morning. So I started the fresh bread in every restaurant in San Diego. And then I had this guy, he was born in October. He heard about me doing reading and guiding people. He asked me, he told me that he had $15,000. I didn't know which way he wanted to go to invest the money. I said to him, start a pizza business. And now you have the Wooded pizza in all over California. I helped him to start his business, and he has his main office still in La Jolla. So my work in guiding people started a long time ago, and I'm proud to have people who have made history in the United States business-wise. 500 companies that are actually operating because I am the first one to guide them where to invest their money then, 30 years ago.
And
the Wooded pizza, you heard of that?
Yeah? Of course. Do it. I try to do it every day. It is.
The owner is my best friend.
It's a staple of my diet.
So when you look at it, all these experiences have melt me into becoming me. But when I arrived in the United States, I had my master tape, and I went to L.A., and I went to EMI, a record company. When they heard my band, my English band, and me singing behind it, they said, oh, my God, we want to produce this record. So we are going to fly all you musicians to L.A. We're going to re-record your songs, and we're going to have the EMI label. I turned them down. I don't know why. I would have died. I worked all my life to get to that moment, and at the very moment when I had the contract in front of me in the office, I turned them down. Of course, I never said nothing to my musician in England because he would have killed me.
And why do you think you did that?
I had no idea. Maybe I was a bit upset because I worked so hard. I took all the chances, and nobody has helped me. I worked 3 jobs. I was able to get my first record in Europe, and it was selling very well, but I got screwed by the management who had the contract mentioning that my record could only be released all over Europe, but not in France. And it's my brother who was working then in Switzerland that told me, Louis, you're all over the radio. I'll say, oh, yeah? And then that's where my brother and 2 of his big guys came to Paris and put the gun on this guy's head and said, hey, we need the master tape back and we want to kill the contract. So I didn't want to go through all that again.
Well, maybe subconsciously you knew or you were told that this wasn't important to you, that you had another mission in life.
Yeah, the confirmation came after the 4th experience. On my way to Los Angeles, to Kitela. I was married with Brigitte during those days, and she wanted to do a beauty pageant. Can I go into that one?
Yeah, this is up near Disneyland. For everybody out there, Catella is the famous street that goes right past Disneyland and all the hotels and restaurant row right off of the 5 freeway by Angel Stadium.
That's correct. That was where I was supposed to end. But the night before, I said to my wife, you should go to bed early so that your beauty sleep will make you win the contest tomorrow. So we went to bed kind of early. And again, in the middle of the night, she woke up. She was screaming. She was in a fetus position on the floor. I never seen her that way. I said, my gosh, she's losing it. What am I going to do? What's going on with her? She made me look everywhere in the house, in every cupboard, under the bed. I said, what's wrong with you? She said, I don't know. There is something. And there's nothing. Yeah, and I said, you need to sleep. Do you think you're going to do that thing tomorrow? She says, well, I don't know about that. Of course, the next day I woke up at 7 o'clock, and I said, there's no point of going anywhere. She said, well, Grandma lives next door, so we can go and say hello to her. I don't want to stay in the house. So exactly 8 o'clock in the morning, I was on high five. I filled up my tank, and I was on high five on the way to Catella, to the Hilton, or I can't remember the hotel that is there, where the paging was taking place. And we were driving, and I turned the radio off, and I very cautiously wanted to know if she felt good, so I asked her, what happened to you last night? She said, I don't know. I said, does this happen often? She says, the first time in my life, I felt like there was something in the house, and I couldn't sleep. I don't know what it was. Okay, and as I was talking to her, I drove through a bridge. What's the name of that? I forgot the name now.
Jamboree
Street. Jamboree, yes. I recall. That's the last thing I remember, a big sign saying Jamboree. And then as I was driving, I was like driving into a cloud. I thought maybe it's a marine layer or something, but at the same time I didn't feel the wheel on the ground. That's weird. And then I said to my wife, I need to get out. I don't know where I am. I look around me. I did not recognize absolutely anything. Only thing I remember is Jamboree. And then I took the first exit, and I arrived in a parking lot, and there was 3 Mexican guys. They were having their sandwiches in the back of a white Toyota truck. I recall that very, very well. I went to them, and I said, excuse me, could you tell me where I am, please? They look at each other like, whoa, tonto de la cabeza. They thought I smoked too much pot or something.
Right.
They told me you were at the Los Angeles Zoo parking lot. What? What am I doing here? I am after Los Angeles. Okay, so I said, okay, what time is it, please? And he looked at his watch and he said, 8 la mañana. So 8 o'clock in the morning. So I said, 9 o'clock, excuse me, 9 o'clock, 9. I said, okay, all right. I tried to gather my marbles together. I went back into the car. I sat next to my ex-wife, and I said, Brigitte, do you remember when I married you? And I told you that I was, dealing with UFOs, and one day maybe you'd be involved with that stuff. She said, oh, come on, what are you talking about now? I said, we are after Los Angeles. And she goes, what? Next time we go through the entire city and I don't even see the sign of Disneyland, you let me know, will you? She was so confused. She opened the glove compartment because, again, during those days we didn't have a GPS. We used to go places with big, huge map of the United States. She was looking for where she was supposed to be on the United States map. And then it took us nearly an hour and a half, if not more, just to go back from Los Angeles Zoo to Catella exit to that place. When I arrived there, my wife was just totally freaking out. She says, I do not want to be back in this house. I said, what are you talking about? She said, we have to stay in this hotel tonight. I said, we're so close. Why do we have to spend so much money? She said, I don't want to go there. So she called a friend. Her friend came and picked her up, and then she went straight to Phoenix, Arizona, literally. And, of course, the reason of our divorce is because when all this transpired in 1991. That was August 11, 1991. Someone told me that there was a guy that was dealing with UFOs, and I should contact this guy. So I spoke to him, and he set up a meeting in Victorville with 2 top hypnotherapists, and everything had to be televised. In fact, I still have the video. So they put me under.
Yeah, let me jump in, because this is very important. What happens next, and I want everybody to understand what just transpired here. Jamboree is the main street that is at John Wayne Airport. This is way south in Orange County, California. It's probably 50, 60, 70 miles to the LA Zoo. And 70 miles in LA is not 1 hour of traffic time. It's 3 hours of driving, no matter how you slice the cheese, right? And Jamboree is still south of Catella and Disneyland by 15 or 20 miles. You didn't even get to Disneyland. You were still...
No, I just remember Jamboree. And again, as you said, unless there is no traffic and no cops and I drive a Ferrari, maybe I could do it, you know.
No, you couldn't even do it then. It's a brutal drive. And Jamboree, when you're coming up from San Diego, I want everybody to understand what we're talking about here. When you're coming up from San Diego and you first enter into that part of Orange County, that's the beginning of civilization again. But it's probably a 30-minute drive from San Diego to get up to Jamboree, maybe a little longer, maybe it's a little longer, but it's also what I'm trying to have everybody understand. You're still at the beginning of your journey, and to get from there to the LA Zoo, no, you're talking time travel to do that.
Serious.
Yeah. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll get to what happens in Victorville. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Dr. Louis Turi. And, man, we're going to do Victorville, and we're going to get to predictions before we run out of time. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If your home has hard water and it's leaving white spots, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes. Limescale can cost hundreds of dollars a year in wasted energy and early appliance breakdown. HydroCare systems available at Wave Home Solutions prevent and remove limescale with just a simple filter change every 3 years. There are no salts, chemicals, or magnetic coils. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, just go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. When I'm not hosting my radio program, The Richard Dolan Show on KGRA, or writing new books on UFOs, I run a publishing company. I'm proud to say that Richard Dolan Press has published some of the most fascinating books available on UFOs and related subjects. They include Dr. Bruce Maccabee's classic analysis of the UFO cover-up, David Marler's breakthrough book on triangular UFOs, Dr. Richard Sauter's unique work on underground bases, and other classics by Grant Cameron, Chase Kletsky, and Dr. Bob Wood, not to mention intriguing works by Eve Lorgan and Laurie MacDonald that deal with truly bizarre phenomena. I'm proud to publish such high-quality and original works, and there are several amazing books about to be released over the next few months. Go to richarddolanpress.com to learn more.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482? No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your oh so humble host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest is Dr. Turi. We're discussing his ET contact and his 3, 4. We're going to get into 5 separate events of his contact. And also, I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night on Fade to Black, which is Fader Night, open lines, Nancy's going to be here to tell us about her dream that she had last night. Now, this is what's interesting, and Louie, just stay with me because I have a question for you about this dream. And you may want to listen to the show tomorrow night, by the way. So, Nancy last night had this dream about myself and Rita in the south of France. Interesting. And that, and I'm not going to get into the details of it, but, and that's the dream. We're going to go through the dream tomorrow night with Kelly Sullivan, and we're going to discuss and analyze the dream. But I have a question for you, Louis. In the south of France, is there like a bazaar, a marketplace, a bazaar type of marketplace in this area, or is there a bunch of them? Do you have
there
any?
is a bunch of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So marché aux puces, we call it marché aux puces. What do you call that? Flea market.
Okay. Well,
we have those all over the place. I also do a dream interpretation, but just to make sure I don't get any interferences with your guest.
Right.
It'd be good if I don't know anything at all. You just give me the basics of your dream, and then I'll let Draco do the channeling for me, because this is one of my expertise, doing dream translation too. But as I said, Draco channeling are very, very different than what other dream interpretation or interpreter could offer you. So I don't want to know what happened. I don't want to listen to the show. I just want you to tell me the basics of your dream, and then I'll channel. We can do this in private if you want to, of course.
Okay, that sounds fantastic, and we'll do that. Okay.
You bet.
All right. This is it's interesting too. What you just said is what I said earlier today. When I found out about, I don't want to know. Let's do this in real time tomorrow night. So, okay. So you go to Victorville. You've got 3 video cameras on you, and
right.
You're going to do some regression. What happens?
Right. I had 2 top doctors taking care of me, and to make sure I was under, they froze the first picture and the last pictures to see how much I moved, or if I moved, or anything else. And you can be sure in an hour and a half that I was under. The only thing that moves is me when I am sweating. I mean, literally profusely, like water is pouring out of my body, and I wet the entire place. What happened is, this is what exactly happened. We were sacked from what the regression says, and I'm going to go straight to the point. From what happened is, I was sucked into the flying saucer's belly, and my wife was screaming. She was all going insane, and I was saying to her, "Do not worry. This is not the first time. and I'm speaking as I say things like that, everything will be fine. It's like if I had an agreement to what was going to happen next. And at that point, I did not know what happened next because I was in immigration. So the three guys that I've seen on my second experience, or the Nordics, call them the Nordics, they are the one who opened the door and led me to like an elevator, another door, and they took my wife in another area. And then I went inside the belly of the flying saucer. That's where I saw the Greys. They were doing all the work. They were taking care of all the electronics. And I was looking at all the screen, like you see a television thing, a lot of screen all over me. And I was not surprised. It's like I've been there before. And I was looking and just looking. And then I knew exactly where to go because I was looking for my wife. And there she was laying down on the glass table, and they were taking the fetus out. She was pregnant.
Wait, say that again. Sutures?
The fetus. The
fetus.
Baby.
Fetus. Okay. Fetus.
So they were doing surgery on her.
Did you know she was pregnant at the time?
Yes, and what's very, very interesting is after the session, she actually showed me just above the airline a 2-inch scar just above the airline that was not there before, and I know because I've been married with her for 10 years.
Right.
So the fact of the matter is they use a technology or a laser to cut her and remove the fetus. So that is physical. This is real. This is not made-up story.
Right.
I have the fact behind the regression. So I'm watching her.
Were you what was your mood like? I mean, were you cool?
I was normal. It's like I had an agreement. Like I said, okay, do it.
Right.
I should have been so pissed off for taking the baby.
Right, of
But
course.
I was not.
Right.
I was like looking at like I was. It was normal. It was okay for me to be there, look at this, and not being upset or anything. I was much more upset with them giving me a headache for weeks than actually watching them taking the baby out of my wife's tummy.
Now, what about your wife? What was she doing at that time?
She was deep asleep.
Deep asleep. Okay.
But of course, all this was so traumatic that she divorced me. She wants to stay as far as possible from me, because she was afraid of going back to the same thing. We're not married anymore.
Of course.
But that's why she divorced me. One of the reasons. So basically, once they did that procedure pretty fast, and then I walked to another area. I know exactly where to go, and I enter a little room, and I'm sitting on what seems to be a chair. Okay, and there is nothing to restrain me. I'm actually sitting on a chair. Then something came from the ceiling, and it goes right on top of my head, all the way down to my nose. And then it's like if I become solid steel with a mixture of electricity, water, but you cannot explain. I imploded. It's like if they were discharging or uploading something into my brain. And I know that to be a fact because as soon as this was done, I went back to the apartment that Michel gave me, and I couldn't stop reading all the work of Nostradamus, mastering astrology, and I painted symbols all over the wall. So imagine when he came to collect the rent, and he saw his houses with extraterrestrials, astrology, hand with a chain, UFOs. I just could not help myself to literally warn my house and my doors. So that tells you something really, really dramatic is going on here. And that's where I master the cosmic code. That's where I was prepared, basically, to the next step, which took place, of course, last year in May, with Draco embedding my spirit and allowing me to make predictions that are inaugural. And again, you'll be my guest when I give you those dates to check them up.
The period between this and Victorville and last year. Now we're talking about how many years now?
August 11, 1991.
Right.
That's when this transpired. Remember, I kept the dates. November 11, 1981, with my brother in the flying saucer. August 11, 1991, with my wife. That's when we were abducted in Los Angeles.
Right.
And up all the way to May 2015.
So that's about 14 years.
Yeah, but in between Tirania and I, we went through all sorts of things.
Yeah,
that
and
are
that's
totally inexplicable.
And that's what I want to talk about. So during this 15-year period, these predictions start. Now, let's go back because 9/11 is there. There's a lot of significant things that were happening that you were predicting. So
my first show was in 1995 with Art Bell.
Right, and that's where I was going.
I still have the recording when I told him to be ready for the United States to go in a religious war with the Middle East. And that was well before Osama bin Laden, ISIS, and anything that's going on right now. And people can listen to that show. It's still on the internet.
Yes,
so
I've listened to it.
The first time I was invited on a radio show is on Art Bell.
And how did this start to happen for you? Because these are specific. You know, these aren't broad strokes here. These are very specific predictions. So tell me how did that first start to work with you?
But first of all, it's important to differentiate me from Mrs. Cleo. I am not a psychic. I am a soul doctor, and all my work is based upon a software that I developed. I asked Alohan Software in Los Angeles to redesign astrological software because I wanted to do astrology like Nostradamus used to do 500 years ago, without a watch, without a computer. I wanted to do it with the guts, with the symbols, with the feelings, so to speak. And because Julius Caesar didn't want his politician to be in power and in control too long, he messed up the calendar. And that means that modern astrology, as practiced today, is upset. So I asked them to redo the software, and that's what I used to make my prediction and to guide people and to do what I do best. And a year or maybe a year and a half before 9/11, I literally explain in great detail what happened. I mean, if you want to read the section, all you got to do is Google Dr. Turi 9/11, and then you're going to read exactly what I wrote a year and a half before. It's undeniable. To the point where, of course, becomes so precise that the FBI start to visit me because they wonder if I'm not a sleeping cell. How do you know on that date we're going to have a terrorist attack? As I predict Katrina on George's show, you heard that too. I give the exact date. I said millions of people will be forced to relocate on that specific date. The next thing you know, you have Katrina, the Asian tsunami. I mean, I can't even keep record anymore. I can only move forward. And I have the aptitude to give the exact date of earthquakes that are above 6.0. And many years ago, when I developed that abilities, I sent email to USGS, to NASA, to the Seismologist Institute in Pasadena. I give them a very specific date, and I told them on October 7, I can't remember the year, you're going to have an earthquake above 6.0 and a 7.3, and then a 7.2 hit exactly on the date that I gave them. But they have fear of the ridicule, and they would rather be cut dead than to work with me. I mean, at least I'm giving you a perfect timing. If they were to work with me instead of going against me or ridicule my work, we may be able to find the location and save lives. But they're not going to dig into my work because it's a political correctness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, that I think the date, I don't have it in front of me, but I think the date was August 29th for Katrina. And
That's correct.
Yeah,
and I was on George. It's amazing that each time something important is about to take place, I'm on the radio. So you can be sure I'm going to give you the date of the 20th, if I may. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And that's where terrorist attack, and we already have an end tonight. Because, again, I used the 20th, but because of the longitude and latitude, those windows are active 48 hours before and after the given date. So the 20th is the concentration of the most negative energy, and you're going to see death, news with the police, crazy people killing each other. The key word is death and drama and the police. Simple as that. Now, big earthquakes are coming on the 27th of May. Now, the key word for those dates, of course, is sudden release of energy, shocking news, surprise, large earthquake, news from Japan, news from France. The energy are different, but all this is the result of what really transpired on May 27, 2015, when Draco embedded me. But you have to go. The story goes that Tirania is outside. It was a solar eclipse. There was a day of a solar eclipse, and I was showing my students how to look at an eclipse through binocular without burning your eyes, and I was intending to, and I put it on YouTube. And as soon as I gave her the camera, she looked at me and she goes, back up. I said, why? She back up. And she started to click, clack, click, 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 click. I said, Tirania, stop, what are you doing? She said, I don't know. And she started to click. And my God, I don't know if you have seen the orbs, the succession of orbs that came to me, and to be exactly in my third eye, in my heart. And you could see the succession of the picture that she took, and you could see Draco slowly. Draco is an entity from the constellation of Draco, the Draco constellation, the Draconis, which are the benevolent extraterrestrial,
right,
the gardeners of the world. These are the ones that are taking care of the solar system, and they are battling the reptilians, which are a group of extraterrestrials that want to inherit Earth and want to destroy humanity, put it this way, just to go straight to the point. But
I want everybody to know that this morning, I think it was, certainly this morning, I think you might have done it just before that, but you were telling me about this May 20th date before the show tonight. And right. I want everybody to know that. I mean, I've got it documented and time-stamped, and the tragedy of this Egypt Air plane tonight, I don't want to make light of anything here, but it is, I feel kind of strange right now. And what do you do for yourself mentally, Dr. Turi, when you know that there's impending something is happening, and then it does, and nobody, when you contact the authorities and they don't want to listen, I mean, how do you deal with that?
It's terrible. I feel very, very bad because, their religious comfortable zone, either they are overeducated or atheist, they have lost God's cosmic consciousness. They don't understand. They're totally unconscious. They're being manipulated by outside forces, not only extraterrestrial, but the cosmic code. And all those entities are cosmic conscious. They know exactly when those nasty windows will translate and lead their victims to act out their will to kill. And then there's no words to tell you really how I feel. I'm sad. I'm sad because millions of dollars are being invested on the scientific matrix, on the religious matrix, on the sport matrix, on the entertainment matrix. Nothing is being done to help our children to understand their connection with the divine, with God, but not the God that was created by man's religious folly, or any of the 875 different religions out there that create separatism and ISIS. No, I'm talking about the new conception, the new perception of God cosmic divinity, which is uniting under a universal religion which will never send you to hell, because you're already on hell in your fear and your ignorance. That's what I'm trying to tell people. If enough study were conducted in this direction, instead of being indoctrinated either on the physical or the religious realm, be educated and raise your cosmic consciousness. Understand the cosmic design. Understand that God speaks through the signs. Understand that there are no accidents, only cosmic circumstances that are being used by extraterrestrials that have not their best interest for us. It's to me, you're not going to make me think twice about UFOs and extraterrestrials.
Right.
Meantime, you got people out there that are ruling our life, people who have names and power and position that are totally, completely cosmic and conscious, and those are the ones who ridicule UFOs. So it's a very, very heavy weight, Jimmy, very heavy.
And can anybody, and do you know, when you first meet somebody, can anybody connect with you, or does it take a special person, or can anybody elevate?
Well, you were born with a UCI. The UCI stands for Unique Celestial Identity. Like you were born under, if you born like Michael Jackson, okay, you already were born with the gifts of music and dancing. There is no school that are going to create an Einstein, a Michelangelo, or a Prince, okay? Those stars are already working on their magic through you. And then with your education, with your experience, and by applying the will, you become Michael Jackson, Einstein, Prince, or Dr. Turi, or you, so to speak.
Right.
But you need to, the children are extremely vulnerable because they have to swallow 2,000 years of human evolution. They have to study algebra, history, the arts, English, name it. They have to swallow so much in such a little time, and no one is there to tell them how they are and what God's plan for them, of course, outside of traditional religion, so to speak. So those kids are not regenerating. The next thing you know, they kill their mother, they kill the school teacher, they kill their psychologist, or they get infected by seeking refuge with drugs, alcohol, pot, and then there you are. They are degenerating, and the reptilians, these groups of extraterrestrials, depend on maintaining religion, drugs, alcohol, and all those corporations that are greedy and unconcerned, so they can indoctrinate you into sport, entertainment, religion. They don't want you to think on your divinity or your connection with the divine and God and the universe. They do not want you to go there. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does, totally. How long have they been here? Do you have any idea?
Extraterrestrials have been with us since forever. And apart from the ultimate all-knowing God, which is the essence of the divine in creation itself,
right?
Extraterrestrials have built the solar system. Now, some of them, especially the reptilians, they travel through black holes and dark matter, and they can only survive with fears, discord, I mean, you only have two forces, Jimmy, positive and negative.
That's right.
Up and down, black and white, God, devil, the yin and yang. So those dark forces that operate through the dark energy transfer through black holes from parallel world to come to this enlightened world and try to convert them, so to speak, into their dark forces. So the battle between the reptilians and the draconists have been going on since forever. Now the draconists are abducting people like me. They are conducting people like you. The draconists are a group of benevolent extraterrestrials that have the governance of the world, our best interest in their heart, so to speak. So they are also, I wouldn't use the word manipulated, but they are going through you by giving you ideas, by giving you creativity, by making you more sensitive, more productive. So the battle between the light and darkness has been with us since forever.
Well, okay. This is very interesting. Were they here? And I imagine that I just want to hear your answer. I know my answer. Were they here before man?
Well,
I mean, forever is a long time, right? So.
Well, there is so many disappeared civilization behind you, under your feet.
Right.
It's never ending and it's never commencing.
Right.
It always is. Pretty much like Jesus' ministry. At the very beginning, Jesus' ministry was cosmic in nature. That's why the three wise men were following the stars. Those three wise men were extraterrestrial. They were the positive, the draconists, so to speak. They didn't come to Jesus' birthplace, gave him some chocolate, and took off. They raise his cosmic consciousness as to introduce humanity to our Father in the heavens, and God speaks through the stars. God created the stars in the heavens to be used as signs so that you may lead a safer, more productive life. But the negative reptilians, okay, those are the ones who incorporated religion, so to speak, okay? And those branches created so many different variations of religion that led humanity into the chaos that we see today. And worse now, there is a new movement of atheist movement. And that means these people, which are intellectual, cerebral, are infected by the reptilians because they want to build a world, a godless world, which means only the cerebral, we have no feeling, no heart. The people that have creativity, feelings, or religion, or spirituality will be immediately considered as abnormal. Take the example of Hitler, for example, who was infected by the reptilians and wanted to have the new race, so to speak, of cerebrals. So it is very, very important to realize that humanity is at a convergence, is at a very critical point of very soon no return if we do not understand what those entities are all about and what they want. And the process of educating the masses is critical, but non-existing, because people are spending millions to build new churches, new sports environment, new scientific researches, all the while.
Well, let me jump in. We got to take a break right there. We'll finish this thought right on the backside. Our guest tonight, Dr. Louis Turi. We're going to go into a little bit of overtime for all of you. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back. Stay right there.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Dr. Louis Turi is our guest tonight. His website is drdrturi.com, drturi.com. And if you go to jimmychurchradio.com, just click right there. His websites are there, and you can just go over and check everything out, drturi.com. And as far as updates go on Egypt Air, nothing to add. It disappeared over the Mediterranean. That was last contact with FlightAware, which tracks all of the flights of everything around the world. And then 3 hours later was the tweets that came out from Egypt Air officially. And that's really all we have. 37,000 feet, 69 people on board, 59 were passengers. All right, Dr. Turi, so there's one curious thing here that, well, there's many with you, but and I also, I'm going to let everybody know, I gave Dr. Turi some personal information earlier today about myself, and we're going to get to that too, and let's see what he has to say about the king of conspiracy. We'll get to that. But now, is Jesus... Now, you did the reference with the 3 wise men, and you had the 3 guys back at the bar. I'm not insinuating that the 3 guys at the bar were the 3 wise men. Maybe they were. But now that all of this time has transpired, let's go 30 seconds. Who were the 3 guys in the bar? Did you ever find out who they were?
Well, they are what you call the tall blonde, the Nordics. They are they are the management, put it this way. They are the ones who are trained specifically to conduct abduction to the MG-12 or to those that are commissioned to help humanity to upgrade psychically, put it this way. So their role is not just to do like the great fly ships and cat cows and things like that. They are more into the management. That I know for a fact because I saw them after that into the flying saucer.
Right.
When I was led.
Now, what about the 3 wise men? going back to Jesus. Who were they? Are Nordics too as well?
Well, I have no idea, but all I can tell you is the 12 apostles are representation of the 12 hours of the day, the 12 sins, the 12 jury, the 12 tribe of Israel, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 notes of music. So when you look at the 12 apostles, astrology is nothing else than a reflection of the essence of the beauty and the divinity of all the apostles that is concentrated into a dense physical world through the signs. That's the best way that I can clarify it. So astrology is considered as a pseudoscience, of course, by astronomers who actually could never have been existed if it wasn't for astrology, because the first scientist or the first astronomer stole the clay tablets to depict the exact time of an eclipse. So this is where astrology and astronomy split. But astrology is a much older science, and it's the mother of all science, in fact, that gave birth to astronomy. And in reference to Pluto, when they downgrade this planet to a dwarf things out there, I was so mad, because they do not understand that Pluto is the farthest planet, the smallest planet in our solar system, and the most powerful planet that will speak his power on the 20th, then had already spoken his power tonight with that airplane that has been hijacked by terrorists.
Right.
And again, if you go to drturi.com and you click on Dr. Turi's blog right at the top, you can read the quatrain that I use, the methodology of Nostradamus, and I really, really simply translate this cosmic energy into the human's affair that creates such a dramatic news. And I give these dates weeks ago. And I give the next date, again, is the 27th, for shocking news and very bad earthquake. Japan will make the news, and cosmic news. Expect cosmic news on those days.
On the 27th, you're going to be right back here on this show.
Well, you check it. I mean, I already know, because this is all I do. In all my radio show, I give dates, and people are going back. People are not stupid. People can think and can judge. So, okay, Dr. Turi says this, so let's wait for the day. And when it happened, they realize that I am a real prophet, and I'm really dealing with extraterrestrial and an entity that speaks his will through me.
So Rita, our EP, she wants me to say one word and get you to, and I don't want to run out of time because I want to talk about what you found out about myself, but dragons.
Well, the dragon has been lost. The power of the dragon has been lost. I wrote a 600-page book on the power of the dragon. Asia has lost the divine. The dragon to them is something to celebrate in their custom once a year, when one of the animals becomes the 12th sign of the Oriental and the Occidental astrology is the same, but in Orient they use animals instead of using our regular sign. What I'm trying to tell you, as soon as you say the word dragon, people freak out. And now you have the head of the dragon, which is the Draconis from the constellation of Draco. And then you have the tail of the dragon, which is the watery Reptilius, which is the eternal fight between good and bad, light, darkness, love and hate. So another word, male and female, yin and yang, so to speak. So what I'm going to do to your audience, I'm going to give the opportunity to go to my website, drturi.com, and then you could see the 2016 Nostradamus Dragon Forecast for all sign. It is imperative for you to know where this dragon's head is and push. That's where that's where the Draconis will help you to bring all your wishes. And where the tail is, and be cautious, Because if you know the power of the dragon's head or tail by house and by sign, you know exactly what's going to be transpiring ahead of you in 2016. That's why I produce this every year. So now this normally is $10. I make it very affordable for people. I'm going to let it go for $5. But just for tonight, of course. So,
there you go.
Just for tonight. And I'm also offering your audience the opportunity to join the Cosmic Code for also $5 instead of paying $10 or $200 or $1,000, whatever length you want. So $5 will give you a month's trial of all my forecasts. You get to know Dr. Turi. You get to know our forecasts. You get to know Terania's work with me, and then you're going to gain much more than we could ever bargain for. But that's me to say and you to find out. So all you got to do, go to drturi.com. At the top, you have my email address and you have Terania's email address. And then all you got to do is say, I am from Jimmy Church Show. I heard your show. I heard your deal. I want the power of the dragon. I want the dragon forecast for 2016 for me and my family. And I want also, becoming a Cosmic Coder of the Cosmic Code, which is a very private website. We only have 8,000 people there so far, but, it never stops. Every single day somebody's joining. So I'm giving you that option to test if Dr. Turi is real or if he's bull. And then after a month, I can guarantee you that you're going to sign up again. And that is, of course, the trick.
Of course it is. We just put everything up in the chat rooms and in Twitter. And I like your disclaimer on your website, not for entertainment. This is real.
No. Sad enough, there are so many people that runs to this corporate astrological or horoscope website, all these financially oriented only. There is absolutely nothing. And if they don't have enough critical thinking to back off when they read for entertainment only, then they deserve the bull that they are paying for.
Yes.
But if you want to deal with the underlying truth, you better be ready, though, because, I don't spare anybody. I said as it is. And I'm telling you, if you really want to deal with the truth, as a truth seeker, Terania and I will give you exactly what you're looking for. And trust me, there is not many people that walk the planet Earth that are like me. Or you, Jimmy.
Yeah,
that we are a rarity.
I know. It's such a trip, too, as well. Okay, now I'm going to put you to the test. Okay? I gave you some personal information about me today. What'd you find out?
But I got to ask you some questions first.
Sure.
You are an engineer of the divine. Your Saturn, which is the engineer planet, is in the sign of Aquarius. This means anything to do with technology, the internet, flying, UFOs, the impossible, the incredible, or the planet Uranus is proeminent in your chart. So that means you either love to fly or you're afraid of flying. So which one is it?
I love to fly.
There you go. So that tells me you're in the head on that area. Tail of the dragon is in Capricorn, so that means you're into politics, but you're not lucky with politics. Careful on your knees and your joints, and don't eat when you're upset because you have a gift in cooking. You're supposed to feed the world physically and spiritually. As a Libra, your lesson is to understand the laws of man and the laws of light. That is your soul's purpose. Your Venus is also in Libra, so you can be very diplomatic, you could be very nice and very friendly, but you're also very sensitive. And if somebody upset this light, you're going to start to show your wrist. Jupiter is in Aries on your 7th house, means you're very lucky with foreigners. Basically, your best teachers will be foreigners because, like me, I will challenge you outside of science and religion and help you to uncover your soul's purpose as a leader of the mind. Your Pluto is in your subconscious in the sign of Virgo. So is Mercury and the planet Uranus, right on your 12th house, so you're a perfectionist. You have a great attention to detail, but do not miss the forest looking at a tree. That is my personal counseling to you. Mars is in Scorpio, right in your 2nd house of money, and Neptune is also in Scorpio. Mars in Scorpio means that you regenerate in digging into anything and everything that is mystical and secretive. In fact, you could have been a great FBI agent. You regenerate with anything that is hidden. Neptune is on your second house of money. Be careful in the affairs involving your finances. You could attract the Neptunians. They are the people that lie, that cheat, the religious fanatics, and the gurus. So just be aware of this Neptune. On a more positive impact, Neptune will help you to appreciate the arts, especially classical music, and anything to do with the divine, the subconscious, and the spirits. You're meant to be a writer, a teacher, and your Jupiter in your seventh house, which is the public, how you face the public, will allow you to grow. Right now, the tail of the dragon is affecting your sixth house of work and health, so don't overstress yourself. Your dreams are going to be more prophetic than what they used to be. You may also lack of energy or fall asleep a little bit too easily, so you need to concentrate a little bit on that one. Stay away from drugs, alcohol. Stay away from anything that is not natural. You also have past life in England where you're not exactly lucky. You were a member of the clergy, and your lesson in this lifetime is to understand the other side of the scale and understand God, cosmic divinity outside of conventional religious teaching, because all of those born in October have tendency to follow the codification of thought. That means, of course, the books and the Bible, and their lesson is to challenge the scale and investigate both sides of the scale so justice can be established at all levels. The head of the dragon is currently in your subconscious. My book, Beyond the Secret, will do miracle to you. Maybe I should send you a copy of that. It will help you to understand how the future is nothing else than the reincarnation of the thought and how to use the subconscious productively. Sad enough, this is what the world, Jimmy, is not understanding. The ETs, the reptilians, the nefarious reptilians cannot survive without your fears. They cannot survive without discordance. That's why it's important for them to maintain religion, because all religions are actually breeding separatism and creating people that, in groups like ISIS, that there is no accident. As I said, the reptilians are not interested in me divulging too much secret. The good thing is they cannot harm us. They cannot hurt us. They cannot touch us.
Well, I want to thank you, and thank you not only for coming on tonight, thank you for sharing. We have two important dates here. We have May 20th, which may or may not have happened, but it's kind of strange what happened tonight with Egypt Air. And then May 27th, I've got all the notes here, Japan, earthquake, France, and I've got it noted, and also our audience tweeted out and time-stamped everything with the notes on tonight. So we will take a look at May 27th, and it's going to be interesting. And so aside from that, I do want to thank you for coming on. We've got to set aside some time next month. There's way too much to discuss. Tonight, we just set up a future show is what we've done. Thank you so much, Louis.
I really appreciate having me, Jimmy, and God bless you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much, and give my best to everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, Jimmy. Bye-bye.
Have a great night. There you go. That was weird. That was just a straight. It just ended. But thank you so much, Louis. Fascinating conversation tonight. I want to stress with everybody, I have had my charts read a few times just this year in the last few months. That, listening to him tonight, I couldn't even speak. I just had to listen. That is amazing. His website is Dr. Turi, drturi.com. All right. No update on, let me do this really quick. I've got nothing. Everybody is tweeting out and sending me and emailing me the same information. We don't have any real update. Okay, now it says 66 people on jet, not 69. Let's see if I can collect anything here. 37,000 feet, flight 804, 66 people on board, 56 passengers, 10 crew members, entered Egypt's airspace and did not report in. If it entered Egypt's airspace, it did not report in. Now, it's also saying that they were 10 miles inside of Egyptian airspace. That I don't understand. Either they lost contact in the middle of the Mediterranean, according to FlightAware, or they did not. Again, I feel like, and I don't trust the news. I just don't do it. It's just when things start getting conflicting. I'm looking at the flight path here from Paris to Cairo, and the last contact was right in the middle of the Mediterranean. There's no question about that. And then no announcement apparently for 3 hours. I don't get that too as well. There's something strange here. And again, like you always do with the news, with the mass media, flip that story over 180 degrees, and I think you're going to be right there. A couple of things really quick that I need to get out there. There's another breaking story that was right before the show tonight, which is the former neighborhood watchman George Zimmerman, who shot and killed Trayvon Martin, that unarmed teenager in Florida, so tragically, and was acquitted, has sold the gun that killed Trayvon for more than $120,000 from an online auction. The auction, facilitated by United Gun Group, attracted hundreds of bogus bids, but then it ended Wednesday today. It doesn't, we're not really sure who bought the gun, but the bids were eventually whittled down to 7 legitimate potential buyers before the winning bidder came in at more than $120,000. Are you angry? I feel funky. Anybody has the right to do what they want to do with their possessions. I get that. I totally understand. He had the right to sell the gun or not. The point is, he shouldn't have sold it. You take that thing and you put it in the attic, you put it away, you bury it in the backyard, and you forget about it. But you don't turn around and sell it and make profit off of somebody's death. And that's it. Let your grandkids sell it in 100 years, but you don't do it. No, I am more than angry about this. And another warning to all of you, I had to adjust my lifestyle today because of this, because millions of LinkedIn users' passwords were leaked in a massive breach in 2012, have now turned up for sale this week on the dark web, on a market site, for about 5 Bitcoin, or about $2,200. It was initially reported that the security breach affected only 6.5 million users, but now it turns out it was 167 million accounts have been leaked, including 117 million featuring both emails and encrypted passwords. Members who use the same password for LinkedIn and other sites are the most at risk. The hacker behind the privacy breach put the LinkedIn credentials up for sale this week on the dark web market known as The Real Deal. It is unknown how the dealer, who goes by the name Peace, obtained the information. I want to thank Dr. Louis Turi tonight. Absolutely fascinating conversation. Thank you to everybody tonight, the chat rooms, the forums, Twitter, everything completely smoking on fire. Thank you so much. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA The Planet. Thank you, Dr. Louis Turi. Website, www.drlouisturi or drturi.com. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.